Today I want us to talk about something very interesting, and that is Noahide commandments. Many people are leaving Christianity after they've discovered that it's actually idolatry to worship anything or anyone except ha-Shem or God as we know. As we read what we call Jewish Bible, even the Christian Bible that we call Old Testament, if we go to the book of Devarim or Deuteronomy chapter 6 verse 4, we find some interesting words there. Hear, Shema Israel, Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Hear, O Israel, the Lord your God, the Lord is one. I've heard many theories that I'm not going to get into today, that this, in Christianity we talk about Trinity. At the same time, they say this three is one. Something that is bizarre, but there are many theories and ways of trying to explain this. And I can tell you, as a former Christian, that is like a very difficult thing to try to do, to explain Trinity to anyone. In most cases, people, what they do is to just live with this Trinity that is so difficult to understand and try to explain. But you see, my friend, you cannot ignore Trinity, because according to Judaism, it's idolatry. Idolatry is something that is very bad. Worshipping a thing or a human being as God when they are not God. There is only one God, and that is the God of Israel. He chose Israel, as we know it today, as his dwelling place. And therefore, we as his creatures, we need to therefore live with that and be happy for whatever that ha-Shem decides to do. He has chosen the Jews as the as they call it in Hebrew, O Lagoyim, or light to the world, to the nation. So therefore, he has then entered into a special covenant with the Jews. And because of that special covenant with the Jews, they've got a different obligation to other nations. God gave them 613 mitzvot or commandments in order to connect with him. The whole purpose of commandments of mitzvot is not to do anything but to connect with the Most High. And when it comes to other nations, God has given us 7 commandments or mitzvot in order to connect with him, to come closer to him. And as you listen to the rabbis, they will tell you actually these 7 commandments are sort of like a category of commandments. You can actually expound more into these 7 Noahide commandments and get more information about them. So as I said, God gave us 7 commandments in order to connect with him, to come closer to him. And these 7 commandments, therefore, supposed to govern the whole world. We have already touched on the 613 that governs the Jewish people. They are a nation of priesthood, and therefore they've got something completely different. As I said before, they have entered a separate covenant with ha-Shem in Sinai. So these 7 commandments are the ones that will book your seat in the next life. If you want to be part of the world to come, live by the 7 Noahide commandments. These 7 Noahide commandments, even though we call them Noahide commandments, the 6 of them actually were there before even Noah was there. We know of the story, the oldest book actually in the Bible is the book of Iyov. And this book of Iyov or Job tells us that Job was the righteous man. Job was the righteous man. And then you ask yourself a question. Job lived many, many years before the covenant of Sinai and this other commandment that came after. How then did he become a righteous person? He became righteous because he lived by the Noahide commandment, or let's say the other 6 commandments that came before Noah. And now let's talk about these commandments. So these 7 commandments are, the first one, you shall not worship idols. Only ha-Shem deserves our worship. That's the first one. The second one, thou shalt not blaspheme the name of ha-Shem. And then you shall not commit murder. Thou shalt not steal. And then thou shalt not commit forbidden sexual acts. And then you shall not eat a flesh of an animal while he's still alive. And the last one would be to have a justice system. So the first 6 that I've spoken about actually were there even during the times of Adam. The one that came, and actually the one that came later is you shall not eat the flesh of an animal while he's still alive. That is the one that came later with Noah. But these other ones, the 6 other ones, were actually there before. And if you lived by these commandments with the deep understanding of each, you will therefore be called a righteous. In today's terms, you are called a righteous Gentile or a B'nai Noach. It's very, very important to be able to distinguish between this different group of people. So it's either you're a righteous Gentile or you are seen as an idolater, someone who does not worship the God of Israel and only God of Israel, or you are then a Jewish person. If you decide as a Noahide or someone who follows the laws of Noah, you decide to convert to Judaism, you are allowed. A ger toshav, you are allowed it's a ger tzaddik, you are allowed to convert to Judaism and join B'nai Israel, be part of them. But it's not a prerequisite. You are not forced to do that, because by living by these 7 Noahide commandments, you make it to the world to come. God, He is happy with who you are, whether you are a Sotho person here in South Africa, Xhosa, Zulu, whatever. He's happy. Not everyone has to be a Jew. However, we need to be a civilized human beings, and therefore God gives us the 7 Noahide commandments that guides us. And those 7, that's how we connect with ha-Shem. That's how we connect with the Most High. And therefore, I would encourage that we go and search more about this commandment and see how you can live a righteous life here on earth, and see how you can be a righteous person among the nations. I am telling you now, many people are living Christianity and they are asking questions. How can I connect with God if I don't want to convert to Judaism? Here's the answer. B'nai Noach, follow mitzvot Noach, the commandments of Noah. They are 7. Let's connect next time as we go deep into each commandment so that we can have a better understanding on how we can connect with God Yitbarach. May He be blessed. Thank you very much.